So like, I'll keep on with my website. Let's say I got a website. I think it looks good, but that's my opinion. And my wife tells me that sometimes I have bad taste. So how am I going to examine my website and tell if it's actually doing a good job or if I need to revise it?
A lot of people, let's see. So I've had clients come to me wanting to redesign their websites. I have quite a few clients that do that instead of like having a brand new website from scratch. And usually the redesign comes because they are noticing that customers are not, maybe they're filling out the form, but the form is not reaching them properly, or they can't find the form online. The customers cannot find their location online, or they call them and they're like, oh, it took us 30 minutes to find your phone number online or something like that. So usually it comes from a necessity where people are like, okay, this is not very optimal for me right now. I'm not getting the customers that I'm supposed to be getting, or they're landing on the site, but they're not really converting. They're not finding the information that they want. And so that's where a redesign comes in, where it's like, okay, let's take all the information that you already have on there and let's see how can we optimize this information to a point where it makes sense to the user to come in and like use it and actually reach you.
So when you're looking at a website then and you're evaluating it, you're probably then looking more at the analytics than you are even just like the visual ergonomics.
Of course.
Gotcha.
Yes. It has to flow. So there's something called UX UI, right? So UX is the user experience. And I usually, I always look on the back end. Google Search Console is a great tool to have for that, where you can actually see the patterns of, okay, how do people spend that time online on your website, and how does the traffic flow? Where are you getting the traffic from? What kind of customers you're getting? Are they more on the mobile or more on the desktop? Like what is, so you can have an idea, a clear idea of what people are doing once they land on your website.
It sounds complicated. Okay, so how about this? If someone doesn't have the resources to hire a specialist, but they have a nagging suspicion that they need to improve the site, whether they need to make a new one or they just need to redesign it, what are some tips that you would offer them?
Tips. Of course, it depends on the platform that you're working on. For something that's intuitive like Squarespace or Wix, I would want to make sure there's a lot of call to action buttons throughout the site. Make sure you have all your contact information on the first page, on the homepage, because that's where people land first. Make sure that, of course, the site is mobile friendly, because a lot more people pull up the site on the cell phone first before they go on the desktop. I would make sure that the images are compressed, because that would speed up the site, speed up the loading. So a good tool you can use is Tiny PNG. It's a great tool to use. What else? If you can write blogs and put those on there and update your site, that would refresh the site and make it more crawlable, and it would definitely make people, add value, content value to your site. And those are some of the tips I would say. And make sure like the colors on there are a good contrast, because a lot of times people don't pay attention to the colors, and that's the first thing that the users see and so if the colors are not very well complementary, it's such a turnoff for clients, and they just click off because they're not interested, So it has to reflect your identity. It has to reflect your brand and your business marketing strategy. So everything has to line up, I would say. Consistency is key.
Consistency. So we talked a little bit about some of the platforms that people use. Wix is very popular, Squarespace, GoDaddy, a little bit less so, I think. What is your preferred workspace?
I am certified in WordPress, so I feel very comfortable working with WordPress sites. The only thing about WordPress is that it's not intuitive for the end user. So it depends on the client. If the client wants to take ownership of the site after I'm done with it, I would not recommend WordPress, because they will probably not know where to go or how to create a page, or some of the plugins can be a little bit iffy and a little more complicated. So Wix has been great. They have done some major updating to their platform, and I use them quite a bit. Squarespace, I would say, is the least flexible for me to work with. But if the client is set on the Squarespace, I just take it, use it, and make it as good as I can make it. And usually the websites turn out just fine. So, but it depends, again, on the scope of work that they're wanting me to do. And if they want a lot of flexibility in there, I would definitely suggest WordPress.
So WordPress seems to be for either those who are really eager to learn or they want the best website possible.
Not the best, but I mean, it is going to be the best, but it's also going to offer the most options, if that makes sense. So if somebody wants to, in the future, have an e-commerce site or whatever, I would definitely suggest WordPress.
So if I was to decide that, hey, you know what, I got a little bit of extra time, I'd be interested in learning WordPress, how long is that going to take?
So, I mean, I had to take classes to get the certification. It's not, like I said, it's not very intuitive. You need a few weeks at least, at the least, to learn it because there's so many different parts of it. And not to mention the experience of working with it because things kind of arise as you work with a website. And so there's a lot of things that go on the back end of WordPress that people are not aware of. So you need to learn about that.
You had to take classes to learn WordPress. Where did you take those classes?
I actually did them at Whatcom Community College.
Really? So these are like college courses?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Again, you can do an online workshop. There's a lot of things that are available online if you have a willingness to learn.
I know I've just been going to the University of YouTube a lot lately.
YouTube is great.
Yeah,
YouTube is great.
You really can learn just about anything these days on that place.
That's very true. That's very true.
Okay, so how about this? How do I increase the natural website to my website? Sorry, did I say that right?
No, the natural traffic.
The natural traffic, yes. How do I increase natural traffic to my website?
So yeah, some of the things that I mentioned already, make sure that it's mobile friendly, make sure you have a blog of some sort, content that's being refreshed, videos, images, all these things, any kinds of different, like anything those things would add value to your site, videos and images for sure. Also, I would say, yeah, I mean, as long as you have content that's being constantly refreshed, that actually affects the traffic to your site. And keywords, obviously, you have to have the right keywords on there. And I'm trying to think what else. There's quite a few things. I just,
They're more intuitive, I suppose.
Yeah.
So can you expand a little bit on keywords? Because I know we had a group of SEO specialists in here in our last batch of recordings, Britt Reber and Justin Spradlin.
Yes.
From Growing Your Traffic. And they do great work. And we talked a little bit about keywords there. And I said, like, hey, if I'm selling a car wash company and I had a webpage that just said the word car wash 50 times in a row, that means I've done a good job with my keyword, right? And then I was told that that's not the way to do it.
That's not true. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit of like, what are keywords and how do we properly use them?
So I'm not sure if this is my wheelhouse. I would leave that to, I think that question is best tackled with Britt and Justin.
Interesting.
Yeah. What matters to me is that when somebody comes in with, a specific type of content, I make sure I do a little bit of keyword research and I make sure those keywords are integrated in the copywriting that I'm doing in the website.
So you probably find that you end up working a lot with SEO specialists.
Yes, then. Exactly.
Interesting. So what's that overlap like? Is it like, if you were to have 2-3 more years, do you see yourself moving into SEO as well? Or do you think that those are pretty well partitioned apart?
Yeah, I don't think so. That's not my passion to get into like SEO stuff. For me, I'm more on the design side of things. So I appreciate the work that they do because it's very important, but I like to focus more on the design aspect for sure.
Interesting. Definitely more of an artistic leaning than I suppose.
Yes. But copywriting means a lot to me as well. Copywriting is very essential in the website. So it's like, it's a piece of it, but it's not complete, the whole idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So last question before we close out this episode. What is something you wish more people and more businesses understood or appreciated about your field?
I would say how time consuming it is and how it's more complicated than it looks. there's a science to it. It's not everything is as simple as you think it is, and things take a lot more time and work. And you have to have a lot of knowledge and skills to be able to support that. And sometimes people don't appreciate that, oh, I'm not just doing this because I'm bored. I'm doing this because I'm passionate about it and because I've taken the time to learn about it and really understand what to do with it. So it's all, people think, oh, you just plop in some blocks on the page and that's web design. No, it's not. There's so much more that goes on the back end than just that.